We're live
on YouTube.
on YouTube.
It's got a delay, so I can't see it, but
Yeah.
we're there.
We're there. I mean,
This is us.
like,
Live.
and we just lost a viewer. So
Oh, we just lost.
Dub, here's Dub.
That's what we're all about. We are the channel that tries to get the least amount of viewers ever. It's so far
we've
Think we're winning.
we've not succeeded.
winning. Anyways, if you might notice, we were joined by another couple. They're the heads of the Gearbox company. They have played their games. Not really. It was a joke.
We made everything.
This is
But just...
Sam and Dean from Supernatural, the actors that.
Yeah.
No, there are some of Chris's friends that I supposedly stole. We'll get into that later. He's been very upset about it all week long.
I've been torn all week.
Monica and Kyle, how are you? We haven't started recording the podcast yet, but we wanted to introduce you to the viewers, all the viewers.
Hello, viewers.
Hello, viewers.
We're
Winchester's here. Hey, Winchester. He's loving the Pee Wee background. He knew who it was.
Yeah.
Hey, Vance.
It's Peewees.
So yeah, we'll introduce them on the show, but they have worked. They're in the video game industry too, just like Chris, but that we're not allowed to talk about. But they can talk about it, so a little bit. So we're going to talk about it, maybe.
Just a
We'll
little.
see.
Sometimes.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Kyle's fabulous hair.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
We're out for the COVID quarantine.
we did a Dothraki braid the other day.
Oh yeah, for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
And by that I mean a middle school girls braid. Because that's what I know how to do.
Should have done that from the show.
Very
Yeah.
asymmetrical.
Yeah, I totally looked this up. Yeah, it's a Dothraki braid. No, I totally looked it up.
Don't look in the mirror. It's okay.
You either did it to a girl
Yeah.
in church, that was her hairdo, or it's a Dothraki. It's like
I
either.
remember the Dothraki having a pink bow. No, it's
Don't
very
worry about
traditional.
it. Yeah.
It's called youth
If I grew
group.
my hair out, it would just look like this. I look like this in Tekken.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah, I should do that. Just grow it up. I either have to do from Tekken or what's the conspiracy guy that has the big hair?
Oh, yeah. It's Aliens guy.
Aliens.
I was thinking Larry from Three Stooges, but yeah, we can go with that.
Well, yeah, if I grew it out this way, I'd be like Bozo the Clown or something. I mean, you're one to talk. You're wearing a hat. You don't got anything under
No,
there.
this is my head. This is an actual, this is actually part of my head.
Oh.
There's nothing there.
explains a lot.
Also, he only has one ear. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's back. Never
Oh.
mind.
Yeah.
I don't
These backgrounds eat your head, so it's.
One ear. He cut it off. Sent it to his girlfriend.
Shh,
Right, Van
I
Gogh?
told
Isn't
you-
that what
I told
Van
you-
Gogh did?
I
Jennifer
told you not to
watches.
talk to her about on this. Jeez. Wife's gonna hear that.
Here's a fact for you. Van Gogh, he came up with Starry Night in his hospital room. That's where that was a view from his hospital room.
Mhm.
Let's see, was he on LSD?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Someone's been watching game
It's a
shows.
party. Caitlin's mom on the live stream. It's a party. Bonnie is here. So,
That's right.
Oh, bye.
all right, we got people on. They're
They're
starting
waiting. Yeah.
to say hello. So we're gonna start this episode. It's episode 152. Can you believe it?
Can't.
It seems like
No.
2 weeks ago it was 150.
It was.
It will. Yeah,
Kind of.
2 weeks exactly. It was,
Yeah.
It was exactly.
I mean,
2 weeks.
yeah. 150 was on a Sunday, actually. So.
oh, that's
On episode 150, we had a guy come on and show us how to make tiki drinks. Are you guys going
What
to
are
show
you
us how to
guys
make
going to
drinks?
show us? They're going.
Was that Ray?
no.
That was Ray, wasn't it?
Was that right?
We should have had Ray on. He probably could have shown
I
us.
have-
I
It
probably
was-
would love to make some
Oh,
mean
they're
tiki
gonna be
drinks.
mad at you.
Yeah.
You did tiki cheating on Ray.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Ray's a tiki guy?
Oh, he loves tiki. He's
Yeah.
Hawaii and all
Custom
that.
sign and everything.
Island Ray, yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that. We should have had him on the tiki episode.
Mhm.
Could have made a new best friend, a tiki friend.
I actually have 2 tiki cups from somewhere. I think actually Hawaii
Yeah,
that I want to give to him because we don't use them. And I'm like, these are for Ray. And they're literally sitting there just waiting for me to finally give them to Ray. They have Ray's name all over them. Don't tell Ray.
He doesn't watch it.
But he hears the word tiki and he's like, what?
Yeah, right now his ears are burning.
Somewhere
Kind of peaked up.
All right, we ready to record?
Yes.
Sure.
All right, I'm going into my spill. Are you ready?
Yeah, nobody laughs. It throws him off. He gets real mad.
Monica Aston, Kyle King, right?
Yes.
The one that messed it up.
They're your best
Kyle
friends.
Aston.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Sam Dean.
We call our house
Yeah,
Kingston
same.
House. Just
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Well, Kingston.
Kingston Mana.
There we go. All right, here we go. 3, 2. Hello and welcome to I Am Geek, and this is episode 152. I'm Ryan. I'm joined by my brother Chris and our good pal Katrin. And tonight we have 2 more special guests, which makes a total of 5 guests tonight.
Good job.
For people. Yeah, I can do math.
Yeah, 5 people. You can do math, but you can't do English. So
I can't do much. I can do math if I'm just using. Well, if I take my shoes off, that doubles the amount of math I could do. But just fingers and toes. Yeah.
And it adds ambiance as well.
Yeah. But we're joined by. You may remember way back when
Way back when.
we were just a young show starting out. We were joined by a fabulous guest. Monica Aston is back.
Woo!
And she brought somebody with her tonight.
My special
You may have
friend.
seen him on the show Supernatural,
Oh, yeah.
or stunt double for Matt Damon. It
Yeah.
depends on how long his hair is. But Kyle King, how are you doing? Welcome
Good.
to I Am Geek. He didn't do any of those things. I just think he looks like Sam from. Kyle and Monica are both animators. They're both in video games now. Now, Monica was, I think, the last time we talked, you were in the movie biz, right?
Was I? I think.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
believe
Yeah,
Chris is like, I know because I'm your best friend. Well, last time you were in the movie business, you said, forget that.
Mhm.
Forget the movies. I want to deal straight with digital content, people.
Then I'm blowing this joint, you guys.
Yeah.
Jump, jump.
With video games, as
Yeah,
well as Chris. He
Really
let the
blew it up
movies.
like some explosive.
Did she blow it up?
Yeah, like literally, it was horrible. It was chaotic. There was lots of death, lots of
Oh,
mayhem.
no.
But
Is
she's
that-
happy, so that's fine.
Is that why Ray is still in therapy? Ray Chase?
Yes, that's why Ray's hair is so large. Actually, it blew up.
But you guys, I guess we could talk a little bit about what you're working on. But you guys are the latest thing you worked on was Borderlands 3, which we'll get into that. Hopefully, we'll get all the secrets.
Oh, totally.
Find out where the
All the behind the scenes.
unicorn is or whatever. We just discovered there's a unicorn in the game somewhere. I don't know. We play it. Katrin and Chris and I play it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna give you the what for tonight about what we don't like about it.
All right. You have to tell me about it as well, since I played the whole thing, you know.
Definitely played the whole thing.
I'm convinced by that statement.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe you're playing it right now.
Yeah.
All you.
Yeah, if you look at my Steam account, I do have 1,200 hours in it, though.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
That's because it launches every time we work in it.
The same with me. So.
Does that go into actual numbers?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah, it tells you how
That's
many
so funny.
hours.
So it's like fans plus developers.
Yeah.
Like working on it.
Oh, no, that's just my hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
like you can't, like, this shows a lot of how much I know. Like, Steam doesn't say, like, how many hours in the world have been played of this game.
I see what you're saying. Like, cumulative hours on Steam played from everybody. Oh, I have no clue. There's the first, I don't know.
So for the listeners and the viewers, let's back up because for me personally, that was Charlie Brown teacher right there.
Wah, 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 wah.
Everything you just
Oh.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So,
On Steam, one of the things is that, it can calculate how many players have played so many hours.
okay.
She was asking if, because we might skew the amount of hours that people see as
padding the numbers.
Because all the developers, when they launch the game, it says they're playing the game.
Yes.
We'd be working.
Yeah, we'd be working. So it's extra, 1,200 hours for me alone.
Working.
Yeah.
I'm playing. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just working. So let's back up and let's I guess Monica, let's talk about what led you from what drew you into video games, maybe from movies. Yeah. And then Kyle, we could talk about basically how you got started in this business, and then we'll go from there, and we may have a fun game to play later, maybe. Called This Is Your Life. We've got people from your past that are going to join us.
Remember when?
Whose voice is this?
Yeah. Yes, speaker number 10.
I remember when I would braid Kyle's hair.
Stop, Racky.
On Sunday mornings.
I remember him playing in the paddling pool out back. Stark naked.
So I don't know who wants to go first. I don't know if Monica, you want to sort of give us an update where you are in your life right now from the last time that we talked.
Well, yeah. So I guess it's funny because I really, that was an honest question when you asked, like, you were in film when we last talked, right? And I was like, I think so. Yes. And it just ended up being that Gearbox was my first job out of school anyway. So I still had ties there, and then, it was like the crash, right? And then the circumstances led to like a bit of a layoff. And since, like, I will openly admit that I was hired out of school as an artist, and I am an animator, that I was not surprised to be part of that layoff. And that led me into Real Effects down in Dallas, and then there for, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, I don't even know how long. And then just decided to change it up and just pop back over to Gearbox because we had an old comrade over there, Kent Alfred, who he actually helped train me up when I started at Real Effects. He left to go supervise over there. I don't know, maybe like 1 or 2 years prior. I don't know how long Kent had been over there before I decided to go. But like that. Yeah. So just like, okay, I'll go do that now. And when I hopped over, he initially had me doing it's a totally different world, I guess. Like going from film where you're highly specialized. As an animator, you do animator things and people fix things for you so you can keep animating, and they're like, if you have I can model, they're like, it's okay, just animate. So like, and you're like thankful for that because it's like, please don't make me do anything else. But when I jumped over to Gearbox, it was much more like, you got a skill, let's use it. And so Kent very much like was like, I know what your animation is like. I know that you can draw. Let's do some storyboarding. Let's do some cinematic work and make some animatics. And so I just had my fingers in everything, and it was like, creative, like do everything. It was very fun.
That's cool.
So yeah. I didn't necessarily know that I was going to be that. Like, I wasn't like, I want to go do games because I get to do all the things. I was just like, let's change the scenery. Oh, man. Like, yeah.
So you've got to pretty much do from the beginning storyboards all the way up to, like, the animating and everything? So you've sort of followed the process through to the game. Got to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. It really was a trip. Getting back into the flow of game development, because it definitely there's more sort of math involved, or like mechanical, like I can't just send my animation off for someone to make pretty in light. Like I actually have to sort of cut it up and make it so that coders or whoever can make the AI work with it in the game. So that was a challenge, getting used to that kind of a pipe where you weren't just thinking about sort of like the aesthetics of it, but the actual on the ground, how is this going to work in the computer? Like, that's how my brain makes sense of things. It's like, this is pretty, this is functional. Oh.
Yeah, in that situation, she did basically like what you learn in school. When you're in school, you learn every step of, from where you take one asset from the beginning to the end, and that's what she was doing. She was talking to the writers. She would start drawing up storyboards and shots, do revisions of that, put those in the editor, create a layout, create the cameras, put the characters in, animate them, mocap them. She actually got in the motion capture suit as well. And clean it up and then see it in game.
Nice.
So
that was a wonderful new experience.
Yeah. In a nutshell, that's pretty much what we do at Gearbox. Is we're still really involved in every aspect of the pipeline, and it was a pretty big transition for her when she started, and it was very enjoyable because I remember like she got to just be creative in every one of those steps and watch it go all the way from beginning to end. So that was actually pretty cool to see you do that.
Yeah, he was seriously, that little exploding brain emoji that everyone uses when you're doing phone texting. Like he was watching me be like, use everything. And yeah, I would like to go back and see that from your perspective, because he's the old veteran watching me come in and be like, wow. And like, I just bet like if you did sort of like the flashback super speed version of it, it's just me being like, just chipmunk running around. It was pretty fun.
So what mocap stuff did you do? What did you get to do? Like jump off stuff? Or?
My favorite. When you said jump off stuff, it reminded me of this like one utter failure that I did in the mocap suit, where Kyle was actually directing me, trying to I think it was Lilith to throw a grenade or something that my muscle memory. I don't think.
Yes.
I don't have enough body. Like when I throw, and I was really trying. Like I was trying to. Oh, I'm a warrior. Throw it. So bad. Oh, I hope you saved that off.
The reference video would be at work.
Yeah. So there's a camera on you at all times, just to catch the reference of like the actual shooting, and then there's the data that gets captured, and like. The footage must be so good. I want that.
Oh, I could easily pull it down.
So yeah, and it was just they're so sweet because they're like, oh, that's good. Okay, let's try something else. Like super professional, but because I know him, because I live with him, I'm like, oh, I'm doing bad.
I think one of the things I said was, I can see you're really trying. Let's do it with your other arm. Or
He's
like
this kind of director when you're failing on your face. Like, oh man.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. Like, it's funny because it's one of those things you learn when actually working with a bunch of talent is you don't want to throw them off and get in their head. So you just try and talk to them around what they're doing. So I was actually just being a director and saying
he was managing me.
Yeah, like let's do it. Get down a little bit lower and kind of do stuff like that. And instead of like, oh, I know this is not your training. Like, let's go back to the acting, because the acting was so strong because that's what you've been training for so long. It was pretty fun.
And so, like, in contrast, that particular moment after I had been doing other scenes with dialogue, and that's something that we do all the time in film. We're just taking our scene, learning the line, basically being able to mimic the actual voice actor doing the physical action, and so it was just a natural thing. It was, and I did a, did it actually make it in the big? She did a big monologue on the stage, right. So like the villainess, the main girl, she's walking around on the stage talking about her husks or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Did that get cut?
No,
I feel like it got cut.
It's when Tyrene and Troy are huge holograms near the
okay.
So we played that recently because we're going through the game again. I actually said, I bet that's Monica right there.
That's so funny.
I knew that was you.
Back.
That's my main big scene, yeah. Otherwise, it was there was another girl who would actually couldn't get her at the time. That's why I got in the suit for that particular scene. But otherwise, it was
there is a girl that we have,
a particular actress
that comes from California that we fly in every once in a while. But because we have to fly her in, it was very convenient to have Monica at Gearbox, and we were trying to utilize her as many times as possible for the mocap.
That's awesome.
And I was like, please, can I do it this time, please? And they're like, no more weapons. I'm like, okay.
You're a giant hologram now in a game.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I want that to be my job. Just put on a skin tight suit with balls on it and jump around.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
You say that. You say that, but I guess jumping ahead, I just did some mocap. Oh, this happened this year, a couple months back.
Yeah.
I was
covering his mouth.
So I've been doing mocap in the suit since the day I actually started about 12 or 13 years ago. One of the mocap guys threw me in the suit the first day, and I was 3 months out of college, and I was like, well, what am I doing? My hands are like, what? So he's like, no, just point over there, act like you know what you're doing. So I did it, and 12 years later, I have a couple hundred suit ups. I'm in every video game that Gearbox has made since Borderlands 1. And I go to do some mocap for one of our DLCs recently. And we set up the pads and everything. And we have foam swords. But inside of the foam is PVC pipe so that you can actually have combat.
Yeah.
For one of our title cards that we actually will be releasing soon, I did an action, and I committed really hard to that action, so hard that I snapped the prop in half, and when the prop broke, it hit me in the mouth, and I lost the bottom 3 teeth.
Oh God!
Bottom of my mouth.
Wow.
And
the reference video caught it.
Yeah, and the reference video caught it, so you can see my teeth fall out of my mouth. And I spit them out. So that happened recently.
I memorized that video because it was horrific, and I had to see it 500 times. And his reaction is so funny because of the way that he lands and just sits there for a second, and then just goes.
It was if I could act, it's the way you want to act. But for some reason in real life, I actually was pretty calm.
That was like your Aragorn Lord of the Rings helmet kick moment where he broke his toe.
Yeah.
And that's the one that made it into the film.
Yeah.
If this were a film, that shot would have made it.
Yeah.
Good.
All for the craft.
Yeah.
I interviewed I don't remember his name now. Last year at a comic convention, one of the voice actors for Gears of War, I forget his name. I'm sure Chris knows. One of the main characters. He's been in all the Gears of War games. And he just did the voices, and they're like, "You want to do the mocap?" And he's like, "I guess."
Mm-hmm.
And he's an older guy, sort of bigger. And he's like, first I had to put on the suit. And he said that they're like, okay, you're going to jump across this canyon and then jump across this. And he's like, what are you talking about? I do voices for a living, and you want me to jump? Like, yeah, just do it. So he did all that. I think something happened to him, and he got hurt.
Oh.
And then he was supposed to do this. There was this scene where somebody was dying I don't know if it's the love of his life or whatever. I haven't played Gears of War. And he's supposed to lean into her and get over top of her. So he did what they were supposed to, and he got him real close like he was supposed to. And the other actors just snapped and started cussing at him and yelling, "Why are you in my face?" And he's just like, "I don't know what's going on." I'm just doing what they told me.
I'm sorry.
Didn't after she's like, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh God! Oh, I would die. I would just be terrified.
Boyfriend.
I guess it was like, okay, so when The Witcher show came out, I started playing 3. It was the first one I had played, and I think it was that we were talking about, the mocap for the sex scenes or something, and like this is the first sort of like thought I'd had after my mocap experience or whatever, or since then, finally putting 2 and 2 together, being like, did their mocap do sexes? Like, how did they do that? What about the balls? Do they not?
That helps out. Probably doing
the Velcro balls. But because I knocked mine off all the time, they're really just stuck on, So like that was my thought. I was like, what about the Velcro?
Stuck together. They had to pry them apart. Like
where's our prior? Come in. We got to pry them apart.
The crowbar.
There's a guy. There's the crowbar standing by.
I got this. Don't worry, it's good.
Oh man, you doing okay, Katrin?
I'm good. I'm tweeting. Sorry.
Is that a bad topic to bring up? Is this a? Do kids listen to this?
I don't know.
No, we've marked this not for children, so it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we stay family friendly. We try to keep it clean, but that was fine.
That's what I thought. That's like, but in hindsight, I was like, oh, I wasn't thinking about
that. That's just part of nature, Velcro
Velcro is a problem. Yeah, in nature.
Part of nature.
All natural.
Tonight on I'm Geek, we discuss the birds and the Velcro.
I think we talked about that last time I was on too, actually.
Oh no.
One Velcro strap falls in love with another Velcro strap.
You go get a prior.
Yeah. What if there was a guy on set and that was his title, The Prior, and they're like, what's the prior do? And you're like, just wait and see. Just wait.
Yeah, it actually sounds really dignified, and it's like,
no. Ooh, he's the prior.
Yeah.
Big rubber gloves.
Reginald Prior.
Oh, so speaking of priors, Kyle, tell us about your background.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess we start. I guess we're out of college. Basically, that's actually we met in college, and then as we graduated, I got the job at Gearbox.
We got the job at Gearbox.
We actually got hired at the same time.
Wow. Came as a pair.
Yeah, accidentally. At the time, we weren't even dating. We didn't start dating until we started there.
Right.
Yeah. But no, I started like 12 years ago, I think it was, and I started because I've just always been an artist in some way. I was a traditional artist when I was younger, and then started playing video games. I played Final Fantasy, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. I had no reason why or like what could have made me think that was going to be my profession, but from that moment on, I was like, I want to make video games, and
whatever that means,
yeah.
I'm doing it.
Ended up going to the Art Institute of Dallas and did a bachelor's in 3 years. It's like an accelerated degree or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys from Gearbox came down to the school and was like, "Hey, we're looking for new hires. Where's your portfolio?" And we just threw some stuff together because we were trying to graduate. So
that's why I became an artist, because I did not have any animation available at the time.
Yeah.
But I got drawings.
Yeah. And then
napkin I drew on.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
From there, like everything just kind of fell together. I put my demo reel in. I went and met the animation director at the time, and just started that January after graduating in December. And I've been working there since.
Wow.
I love it still. I still love animating, getting games as well, not just pure animation, but like she was saying, you get to do everything. You do at points. I've been rigging. I've been developing combat, design, animation, cinematics, implementing cinematics, directing artists, directing mocap, pretty much everything. I don't do modeling.
Everything animation touches.
Yeah, everything animation touches. So
That's cool.
yeah.
So,
Awesome.
well, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, so that's rare though in that industry, right? For someone to be at one place for so long, or am I wrong?
You're right. It usually the situation is that people jump around from studio to studio, and they develop different pipelines and educating themselves a lot from different studios. You can really pull from a lot. When I started at Gearbox, we've always been kind of a startup studio feel. We've for the last 10 years, we actually didn't really have much of a hierarchy in terms of you have your student, and then you have your mid-tier, high-tier, your lead, your supervisor. We didn't have any of that. All we had was just developers, and then we had maybe an art director and a creative director. Outside of that, you had some smaller positions, but you could do whatever you wanted. And the idea of Gearbox is always, if you build it, like that was the tagline. If you build it, it's going to be made, basically. Yeah. And so what I did was it allowed a lot of people to stay very creative and be creating art for themselves and stimulated. Yeah, that's a really good word for it, actually. Because you stay so creative, like, let me do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. And it because of the way that the company is structured, you really still work together. You don't normally work against each other.
Yeah.
And it actually has been pretty good. Oh, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, you said people they jump around, and so one of the things is that I have gotten to basically jump around all in one company.
Yeah.
And a lot of us actually do that. There's I started. 3 months later, one of the other animators started with me, and he's been there for the same amount of time that I've been there. And then there's 2 other senior animators that have been there one's been there for 15 years, one's been there for 20 years. Wow. Outside of that, we only have 2 other animators. So there's 4 animators that have over 12 to 20 years of experience at one studio. And it's been very enjoyable, and we get to grow a lot. So it is a bit different than jumping around from studio to studio. I think it's nice because we also get to like I was saying, get to touch so many aspects that every day is a different day. Not just because you get to animate a different character, but I could be doing some production work. And even though I'm not the lead of the department, I can help structure and define how we build characters, how they
influence the pipe, essentially.
Yeah, influence the pipe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
I should have done my homework, but so have you been there? I did my homework a little bit. I have a 2 and a 5-year-old, so sometimes I don't. Yeah, I do their homework. So have you been there since the first Borderlands game?
Yes.
That's cool.
I started before the art style transition. So when I was applying for the job, they showed me Brothers in Arms and Borderlands and this new sci-fi game they're working on.
Oh, I remember that. Was it PC? What was the magazine? It was all still very realistic colorings.
I think it was like PC Gamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They use that as the sort of like jump off, like this is the game that we're making. Man, I haven't thought about that image in years.
Yeah, because it didn't used to look as graphic art stylized. Yeah,
like cell shaded sort of. Maybe I don't know.
Comic booky.
They don't like
comic booky.
They wanted to call, what is it, concept art style, basically, something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons that I like the game is the art style that's used in it. I just love it. I think it's just so cool looking.
I love the cosplay that comes out of these characters that you see. Like that people like draw the lines all over like, their face and everything, and all their like clothes and all. It looks so cool.
So that's not how it started, though. Is that what you're saying?
No. That is actually, and the studio is very open about how they talk about it, because it stems from what I was just saying. If you build it, the kind of style, if somebody is excited to do something, they don't have to just super passionate. They don't have to like go pitch it to somebody. They can just start doing it, especially if they have the extra time or if they want to do it after hours. I'm sure they actually even just be like, hey, I want some extra time. I had a really cool idea. I want to do it.
Well, it's like, you had like they had the freedom to pitch it. Like it wasn't as though like it's like, why are you talking to you? It's just like, I want this. Yeah.
Yeah. So they a couple
I was
artists.
way too low level at the time to actually know how it went down. I was like, oh, we're changing. Okay.
We were we had just switched from consoles after shipping Brothers in Arms, and we wanted to mess with some of the ways that we were going to render some content, and so artists got together and were influenced by some other artwork in the world, and took that concept style, applied it in Unreal for the first time, and built an entire art set and a little level basically, and just kind of like started ground roots showing people, and everyone got so excited. They were like, we already have all of these assets, really we just have to retexture them, relight the game, and then it kind of built from there. Like we started doing extra post-processing and all that kind of stuff, and then the art style just flourished and flew, and it really it just captured everybody in the studio, and everybody had that same love for what was going on, and it became what is now a huge industry influence, which has been really cool. I was just looking at an animation today from somebody who posted online. I just forgot the name. It's like Battle something or
Fire game looks awesome.
Very influenced by it. You can tell if you look at it, you're like, wow, that looks just like Borderlands, but in like a Street Fighter style. So it's really cool to see. And be a part of that actually.
So at Gearbox, everything happens there. So somebody's writing the whole story.
Yep.
How does that work for a video game? So you have like a script, and then you have a side script, and then you have how does that work? Because especially in Borderlands, because you have the main story, but then you have like 15 billion side quests you can go on. How does that all come together?
We have so we generally have a couple of writers for the project, some couple of head writers, and then there are they'll work with our mission designers and our level designers, who also write parts of the script for all the side quests and stuff. So they all communicate with the lead writers from the original pitch throughout the entire process of the game, because it's always changing. If we have to, cut a certain level, we have to rewrite something in the middle of the game. So we have to rewrite some of the side missions, some of the main missions. But we have that general outline at the very beginning, and then because we have to know who the boss is at the end and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of people in the studio that write quests and stories for the entire project.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's one thing. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say just one last thing. One of the things that people get afraid of when they go into video games is like, hey, I want to be a writer, and then they see like a studio has 3 people out of 500 that write a script, but people might not always know that it's not as black and white as that. There are dozens and dozens of people writing stories and all these little, especially for Borderlands, you see influence for like all of the side quests that are pop culture related, and you have, 50 people who have different backgrounds and experiences in their life. They bring these pop culture pieces together, and they all write stories together, and you get
also ideas are flying all over the place. Like even if you didn't write it, like maybe you're like, it'd be cool if this, and someone takes it and runs with it.
Oh yeah, I'll message them all the time and be like, hey, I just saw an episode of this. Go write something about it. And they're like, yeah. Like, I saw that too. I want to put something in there.
Get to writing this.
Yeah.
I watched America's Got Talent tonight. It was great.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Bachelor?
Yeah.
Do that.
There is like a game. I mean, look, you say America's Got Talent jokingly, but isn't there like a game show that you have to go fight in or something in the game? What was the one we did? What was it?
Oh yeah.
There is. I mean, it's got everything. That's what I like about Borderlands series is that it's like. I guess the best way to describe it is if you turn on a TV, you go to the guide and scroll through, and you watch a couple minutes of this show, and then you get distracted by this other show because it's just so fun. Because like we're doing the main story mission, and all of a sudden we come across a freaking dinosaur who says, "Hey, I need you to go fight the cartel." It's like, what the heck? Why is this dinosaur wearing a cast on his arm? This is so much fun. And okay, I'll go fight the cartel. And you jump through his magical portal that he has, and it's just like so random that it's so fun. That's
we went and got coffee for somebody in the game.
She's like, I need some coffee. I need some caffeine. Go get me some coffee. And we're like, okay, why not?
That one's pretty funny, actually. That was Lorelei. She and that was a long quest just to get the coffee. You're like 15 things. You're like, is this the main mission? Like, this is a 45-minute side mission for some coffee.
He's like, yeah, I need to get the coffee. Oh, well, we don't have any cups.
Gotta
here.
go get a cup.
Yeah. There's definitely some inside jokes in that from being in the office, like when we don't have coffee or when someone has to get coffee. Like, so that's awesome. A lot of that stuff is influenced by our day-to-day stuff.
So what's the most
very cool
random mission or side quest that there is in the game that you think? What's the most random one?
Oh, man. I think for me, I wouldn't just say for Borderlands 3. I kind of go back to Torg, and it's not necessarily random. I wouldn't be able to give you a random one, but the one that I think is very enjoyable is the Torg one, Torg's Grandma, where you go in Borderlands 2. It's in one of the DLCs. You go and talk to her, and it's like 3 hours of dialogue. You can sit there and like continue to talk to her and talk to her and talk to her, and the guys at work like continue to write line after line after line to do this, and it's a little bit of a cult classic within the game that people very much enjoy, and that I've gotten a lot of kick out of just watching a lot of that.
That's funny.
We have a 3-hour shot for you to animate.
The beauty of video games is like you're not animating that.
Yeah, no.
It's like an anime style, like shot. It's like I'm gonna stand here and my mouth's gonna move.
Limited animation. Yeah. Like, this mouth shape works for everything.
Yeah.
I think that's what separates the Borderlands franchise from really anything else. Because most games that I play personally, I'll play the story, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, time to move on to something else. Mm-hmm. But with Borderlands, I've finished the story a couple times, and I'm like, I want to go get coffee for somebody. I want to just go. There's just tons of stuff to do, and it's just it's so much fun. And it's one of the games that, because you have DLCs that are going to be coming out, and it's one of the few games that I might have to buy the DLC because I just want to see what craziness is going to happen next.
Yeah.
So if you can give us any codes for the DLC, we'd appreciate it. So,
I get one code to give out, and that's it.
No, I'm just kidding. One of the things I enjoy the most is the language, even though I don't talk like they talk in the game.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me because it's so extreme. Like, especially when we're playing this one, it's the Super Slaughter 3000, right? You've got this big arena.
Yeah, when you talk about that.
Well, we had it on the wrong mode, I think, at first, but it censors him from saying the F word over and over again. He's like, and I can't say. He gets so mad about it, and it's just so funny because it's.
But at other times they just say
so extreme, and then they'll say it other times, but it's just so extreme that it just makes it funny to me. Maybe not to everybody, but
yeah, we the first time we played that section, I had what's the mode called? Mayhem mode on. And I didn't know it was on. And we're sitting there like, why in the world can't we beat this? What is happening?
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, what's this thing that's turned on? Mayhem mode? I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Then we turn that off. But yeah, it's
Brian's notorious for not realizing stuff is on his PlayStation that needs to be turned off.
Yes. I think you have to turn that on first. You can't just.
I'm probably sure I just turned it on.
We had just finished the game, the regular story, and it said you have Mayhem mode available now. So we're like, great. And I think we may have turned it on.
I did.
But what Chris is referring to is a very funny story.
Gosh.
So
this is the section of the show where you embarrass Ryan.
Well, it's your turn because you always try to embarrass us. But anyways, we play PlayStation, PS4 all the time, and we can never invite Ryan to our games, and he doesn't see our invitations, and we send them, and he doesn't. So we always joke, it's like, oh, he's going to invite us now, and we've got to go to his, all this stuff, and so we said something about it one time. He's like, let me look it up, and he said, oh, it looks like I've just got to reformat. I don't want to do that,
I watched the video, and the guy said that there, for a certain version of the system, which is the version that I had, said there's a glitch, and you're going to have to reformat it to get to where you can have people invite you stuff. And I'm like, I'm not doing that.
I recall asking him, did you check your privacy settings? He's like, yeah. This guy says I've got to reformat it. So last night or whenever it was, he watched this video of this 7-year-old tell him how to fix his privacy settings. So he goes, he's like, well, let me check this out. I mean, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. So he looks, turns it on. It's like, oh, I had this turned off. And then we laughed so hard. Maybe, I mean, it was the funniest thing.
Maybe I just didn't want people messaging.
7-year-old. He went and had like a juice box and some crackers after.
So you're gonna click here and go.
That was the voice.
Oh, it was so fun. But because he was so sure that he had everything set correctly, and it was so funny. But
I'm a 42-year-old man. I don't.
But I told him I'm sure he said it that way because a long time ago when he first started playing, he's like, I don't want all these people messaging me and trying to invite me to their games and playing with random people. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. But.
Yeah, all of Chris's friends would message me all the time saying, hey, we want you to be our friend. We don't want to be Chris's friend anymore. Be my friend. And I said, I can't take this anymore. And I just shut it down.
Monica, leave me alone. What are you playing?
All the time.
You probably actually saved yourself some hassle because in Borderlands, one of the things that people were doing, I don't know how much you played online for Borderlands 2, but people would just jump into your game, spam a bunch of weapons, or do a cheat code, and it would make your entire game basically a cheat file. So now you have like unlimited ammo, or like the craziest.
Wow.
So you probably saved yourself a little bit of headaches.
That's why I had it turned off. See?
Yeah, sure. That's it.
Oh man.
Actually, now I've been thinking about like why would this be turned off, and so I think I know why it was turned off. When my last job that I have, and I say that because now I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I can say my last job. Long ago, when we lived in Florida, the other people in the office played. And I had to deal with them all day long, and I didn't want to deal with them while I was playing at nighttime, so I just shut it down so they couldn't. Because they would be like, message me like, "Oh, I see you're playing video games." I'm like, so what? So I just turned it off. Oh, I see that you're playing video games now instead of doing something else. Well, yes, because it's my personal time. Sure. So that's why. See, it all works out.
Well, we could still see what you were doing.
Yeah.
You just turned it off so nobody could like message you or invite you.
Fine.
And we always had to do what Ryan wanted to do.
So
now he has to do it.
We get on the PlayStation. We're like, what are we going to play tonight? And he's already clicking on something. Well, I guess we're playing this.
Anyways, enough about me. Get back to cool Monica and Kyle.
So let's talk about my troubles with the game consoles. I live with an IT guy. Let's just say that. I remember how earlier I was saying, like in film, like you just kind of like people fix things for you so that you can keep doing what you're doing. That's my life at home. Also, like if I'm trying to play a video game, I'm like, what did you do to the thing? And it was me.
So do you guys have a favorite weapon in the game?
Oh.
Or at least in the Borderlands 3, maybe?
The one, the
If you can't talk about it,
I don't know. Well, okay, so there's this one that I was like, oh, but he was just working on it. I don't know if it's actually in the game.
If it's not in the game, don't talk about it.
Okay.
I don't know what would do.
Blah, 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 blah.
That's in there.
Gather emotion.
What's it called?
They're just. I think they're Iridian. The ones that have
They look like they're alive.
Yeah, we put them. I think.
Like I don't have favorites for like what they do. I have favorites for what they look like.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I think they're Iridian.
And it looks like it's breathing.
Oh wow.
I don't think we got that one.
I have a rocket launcher of some sort. It looks like an animal, sort of, but it doesn't. I don't think it moves or anything. I don't know.
What's the gun that you have, Katrin, that when you shoot it or whatever, it starts going ow, 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 ow.
When you reload, it goes ow,
When you
ow,
reload,
ow,
That's
ow,
a really good one as well.
Yeah, those are funny. And then
I gotta say, I love the flamethrower. That was
he got
based off the Elon Musk. It's based off the Elon Musk flamethrower.
We had that at work.
oh wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like I picked it up.
Oh.
It's not a flamethrower.
But it is a flamethrower.
No, it's not a flamethrower.
Right,
So.
I know.
But no, I picked it up in the game. I was like, because I love flamethrowers in games for some reason.
He does.
We'll play like Battlefront 2, and I'll get the flamethrower stormtrooper, and I'll just be going burning everybody. It's great. So I picked that up. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. And because we have a Tesla, my wife's big into Elon Musk. I looked it up because I wonder if throwers. It's like, oh, they based it off of Elon Musk. It's not a flamethrower. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So he likes to use that.
I like them. I like the burn things.
I can understand. I should have told you when we had it up at the office. I can't believe I didn't even think about that after seeing all of your Tesla stuff. I wasn't like running around with it on my own, but I did get to handle it, and yeah, it's like I want to borrow this for a little while.
I
think for me, there are so many guns, obviously.
Yes.
One that I think
So many.
that I really got attached to early on that I thought was funny was the hamburger one. Have you played with the hamburger gun?
No.
It shoots hamburgers.
What?
Yeah.
No.
If you can Google it.
You can Google it.
Yeah. It's a rocket launcher that shoots hamburgers.
That's awesome. We probably passed over it because it wasn't.
So how
powerful.
how does that work in the game? Like, are there certain places where you can get certain guns, or is it just like it's random and it just pops up?
I'm not going to speak on how I know how the system works because I don't necessarily know as much about the gun systems. But the little that I do know is you can get certain guns off of specific people, and then it's just random based on that. So you kind of got to grind through that. But that's the bare minimum of what I know about the gun system.
Here's an article.
Are you sure?
Yeah, the Gettelberger. Here's an article on how to find it. So I'll share this with you, Ryan, and we'll have to go find the Gettelberger.
Yeah. So that's based off of one of our employees. His name is Ben Edelman.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the gun that I use. It's like the only gun I use now. But what is it called?
Shoot.
It's got
an assault rifle. It has two modes where you shoot. You can shoot this ball out, and it shoots for you.
It's got a gun that floats around your head.
It's got this long name, like the something system, and it's super powerful.
It like wrecks everything.
Yeah.
Everything else I've tried
really high.
Yeah, this one just I forget, but it's got a mode where a gun will float around your head and shoot with you.
That's what's so awesome about like the game. And there are just so many guns in it. And the systems that when we were first developing it, and they were doing all of the like test maps that we have internally, and they have all these crazy guns that like shoot other guns, and then they run around or whatever. We are like, there's no way we're gonna be able to ship this. Like, you guys are prototyping things and we ended up shipping with so much stuff that I would have never thought we could have been able to do. So again, all of that is built off of the same idea as well. Do whatever you think is fun, and we play we play our own games, and that is just one of the fun things about being able to do that is you get to make the guns you want to play with.
You can make all the guns you want.
Yeah,
there's a gun that can shoot out guns too. That you get.
Yeah, we have that gun. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you do? Okay, good.
Yeah. We have the gun that shoots guns.
Have you seen any of the rare reloads?
I'm not sure. What?
So there are rare. So basically, it's like, you know, a 1% chance that if you're shooting a specific gun, he'll like throw the gun away and be like, "What the heck?" And then another gun will appear or something like that.
Oh no!
He'll do magic tricks where he's like, whoosh, and then the gun's gone.
Oh.
I think I had a gun like that where it disappeared and then like another one just appeared once it was done.
That's awesome.
So there's just some fun things like that it's really cool because the gaming community, you know, like not like Call of Duty and these other companies, a lot of their animators will do fun things with their guns. I know Call of Duty does some gimmicky reloads and stuff like that. So we'll kind of like riff off of them, and they'll riff off of us, and like do fun things that are, you know, calling out like the cool work that they've done.
There is a unicorn gun, right? There's some kind of unicorn gun.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh, you don't know.
I wouldn't know.
Something with the unicorn. I don't know.
So you have any favorite characters? Is there a character that you just love in the game?
I am going to be well, for player characters, for me, I'm going to be I love Flack because I did all the creatures, all the pets. So I got to work on all the pets, and I played him the most. So every time I pick up the game, I can't even get myself to play another player because all I want to do is watch my pet that I animated run around and do the things that I made him do. So, and it sounds so cliche because that's like all I wanted to do it, but it just gives me so much joy to see him running around doing that. That it's just all I play. But I guess other characters.
That's Catron's character.
That's good. Yeah. We're always going up and petting his pet.
It says touch pet.
Yeah, touch pet. So we touch the pet. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Sometimes it gives you ammo if you touch the pet right. You got to touch him in that special spot.
Drop things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The little ape. What is he?
With the gun.
With the
ape
gun.
with the gun.
Yeah. He like wags his butt at you. He lifts his butt.
Is that the ape that you did all the different variations for?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I think of the name of that?
Because his production name is Ape, but otherwise it's it's not. I can't remember the actual ship name. What is it? What's the name of the pet for that? It's not Ape.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You guys play the game?
I don't know names.
We don't know names.
Yeah,
I just thought that one guy was called
used
Beastmaster.
the spider the mostly, I guess. So I don't use the. I just started using the other one because I maxed out one specialty, so I moved over to another one, which has the ape. So yeah,
I play as the siren character.
Oh, the Jabber. Oh, you play. You play the siren.
Yeah, you can have all the arms and everything, and do ground pounds and all kinds of stuff. I love that.
That one I think was my second choice because in development I was just spamming. Basically, we can cheat in development, and I can just test all of the skills, and I would just like jump up in the air and just start smashing stuff over and over and over again.
Oh yeah.
Can you guess my character of choice?
What was that?
Can you guess my character? That I play with?
There's only two more left. Or
I'd say the operative. Oh, actually, is that? I don't know.
He's-
Is that not the production name? I don't know.
They have code names for everything.
He's the other lady.
I'm the mech.
Oh, you're Moe's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mo. I love the mech because you can just get in that big suit and kill everything. So.
Oh, that one was a hard one to develop for as well because you can just spawn that thing anywhere in the game.
Oh yeah, I bet.
So having to debug that was a giant. Oh, Zane. Yeah, I say.
Yeah. I have a Zane. I've not done much with it, but I think it's funny that with the mech another character can jump into the suit with him and help fire.
Like jump on top
or with her and fire with. It's pretty neat.
And now once I get out of the suit, it stays with me for a minute.
Yeah, and it'll like walk around with you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's fine. That's what I like. But I'm trying to think of the guy with the guy in the tidy whities. It's hilarious.
You do the title card.
Why can't I remember names of anything? I worked on his title card. Yep, that guy.
He's got the tidy whities in the
Underwear guy.
I'll put underwear guy.
Were you in the mocap for that one too?
Oh, I hope she was.
Yeah, Vaughn.
That's right.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. Oh, you did the title card for that whole thing. I remember that.
Yeah.
From the concept to.
So I did a lot of
product,
drawings of
Tidy Whities. I remember you looking up Tidy Whitey images when she was drawing.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, because I did. Yeah, I know girl tidy whities, but there's like seams in different places in boy underwear, so I had to look it up.
Did you come home with like 6 different pairs of tidy whities and tell Kyle, I need you to go try these on for me?
Yeah, and then I need you to hang upside down because I'm drawing this upside down.
I do some life drawing studies.
Yeah, that did not happen.
We can't talk about that.
Yeah. NDA on that one.
Well, that's cool. So I'm excited about the DLCs. I know you can't talk about them. I'm excited for them to come out. Is there a date when they're coming out yet, or I don't?
There's DLCs out now.
Yeah,
is it out now?
There are 2 out now.
There's about to be one. I'll speak for you.
Yeah, do that. Speak for me.
Because there was an update recently that says it's making way for this. Not really it's free DLC, I guess. For where the cartel is now, it'll be whatever this new thing is.
Yeah, my cartel went away. My dinosaur is just walking around now with no cartel to fight.
Aww.
Yeah.
How did he break his arm? Is what I want to know. How did the dinosaur get a cast on his arm?
I don't know.
They're too short, so it's.
There's a short story behind that.
Overdid it, I guess.
Gotta find for the new,
Yeah.
First that idea.
The Takedown one is the next one. I think that one is the one that just launched.
Okay, well we did Takedown. Is that with the little animals that you're shooting at and?
This one is the Guardian one.
Yeah, we just did that. We tried.
We failed.
But
the one that's impossible that we didn't know what to.
Well, you're level 50 and we're level 40, mid 40s.
Yeah.
So these enemies were level 50 or above, and there was just no way.
So the difference of like 5 levels is like insane.
Yeah.
I was doing okay. I mean, you guys were just watching me play most of it.
I unloaded like everything on like one thing and it still didn't die. Like all 4 guns, everything gone. I'm like, now I'm running.
It was so funny because when they would die in that map, there's like a canyon that you could like fall into. So when they would die, I would be like, "Do you guys just need me to fall in the canyon so we can start over?" And they're like, "Yeah, just fall in the canyon."
Yeah, they said they just patched it from player feedback, so maybe it's a tiny bit easier.
Oh, I'll have to try it again.
Well, I think we played it after the patch.
But
again, the biggest problem is we're not high level enough. So whatever.
I have unlimited.
Good. I mean, I'm glad that it's still hard for you guys too, because we do get into a lot of cases where, and it's very well known that again, there's a billion guns, so it can be very hard to balance the game in which the game is sometimes not balanced because of the craziness of it. So the fact that you are still having a hard time is really good news, because I'm sure you can continue to grind a little bit or find more areas to explore to actually get more levels. But
well, it may not be that it's hard. It may just be us. We just don't know what we're doing. Chris is one of those, when you see him on screen, he's spinning around in a circle, just shooting up in the air.
He's not that bad.
I don't like to let
No, he's not that bad. You run around in a circle?
I do when we've been playing was it Call of Duty with the zombies?
World War II.
With the zombie, there's like one area that if you can gather a bunch of zombies, you can run around in a big circle pointing inward, and they all just keep turning around trying to hurt them, and then just shoot around them.
Nice.
That game's hard.
That is hard.
That game is a zombie game. There's like no ending to it. But anyways, well, we won't pry too much more about Borderlands 3 because we know you want to keep your job. So, but if you do have the video of Monica in the mocap suit running around and you want to post that on our Facebook group, group, that would be hilarious.
I think that would be hysterical. That would be a good
Watch the least cool grenade throw you've ever seen.
If
you want to that in the game, it's like.
I'm going to post a video of you losing your teeth as a cautionary tale.
Yes.
That one's on Facebook.
I know. I saw that one.
Oh,
gosh.
You know what? I think I saw that one.
Yeah.
He still has the fake tooth.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know how they give you a placeholder, a loaner before your real tooth is available? Like, that's what he still has.
Yeah.
Nice. It's slightly out of, it's a little bit too long compared to the rest.
Before your real tooth is available. We're sorry, with everything in the world right now, your tooth is still in China. It'll get here soon, but
just
till then.
Tooth, you're going to be fine.
We had this tooth from a 50-year-old man. Had a bit of a slack jaw. So it'll work.
It used to catch me off guard, but now I'm used to it. Now, it's going to be weird.
Man, the day that it happened, I immediately had a lisp already because I had broke the two in half. Literally just snapped in half. And I went downstairs, and I was like, hey, I can still mocap. And they're like, no, we'll give up for the day. And I was like, fine. So I go downstairs, and I start talking to the other animators, and I just immediately have a lisp. And I'm like,
you can see his tongue poking through his teeth where they used to. Just like it.
Oh, I'm fine. It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's go again.
Yeah.
I got this with the
Blood running down his face. I'm good.
Apparently, your bottom teeth are pretty important to the process.
Apparently, yeah.
You knew.
Well, you guys want to play a little game? Play a game?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So, on our Facebook group, I Am Group, which if you're not a part of, I don't know. You're missing out, I guess. I don't know.
All the cool people are part of it.
Yeah.
All the cool people are. I posted a picture of all these different video games, and I couldn't read them off for the people listening. And basically, it was pick three. You pick your three favorite. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I don't know. Oh, man. And so you pick your favorite three, and you're not supposed to give explanation on the picture, but, man. But we're going to give explanation. Probably.
You good?
No, I got something stuck in my nose. We're on live stream, so
Don't pick your nose.
I can't pick my nose.
I can.
If this
beat
was
you out if
this
you-
was audio, I'd be all up in there. I'd be like knuckle deep.
Mm-hmm.
But here, I'll just do this.
He doesn't care about us seeing it.
Oh, it's fine. Talk to yourself.
Yeah, we can't see anything.
Video
You don't
games.
know what you're doing. There's no clue.
Okay, anyways. Video games. So there's a list of video games you're supposed to pick your top three. So I'll just go through the ones on the list. Because there's some that aren't on that people probably would have put on there. So we got Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, F-Zero, Ratchet and Clank, Final Fantasy, Street Fighter, Crash Bandicoot, Kingdom Hearts, Zelda, Mega Man, Golden Sun, Jak and Daxter, Resident Evil, Mortal Kombat, Spyro, Fallout. There's so many. Kirby, Animal Crossing, Donkey Kong, Sly Cooper. Who's gonna pick that? Silent Hill, Gears of War, Metal Gear Solid, Monster Hunter, Pokemon, Pikmin, Advance War, God of War, Uncharted, Devil May Cry, Doom, Grand Theft Auto, Metroid, Fire Emblem, Xenoblade Chronicles, Persona, Halo, Castlevania, BioShock, and Dark Souls. Again, that picture is on our Facebook group, or you could probably find it online anywhere. But go to our Facebook group. So we're going to pick our top 3. So it's not really a game. We're just telling our top 3. I'm going to judge you. And the people that we'll see who the winner
better be right.
Better be right with the games that you pick. My wife did. I said on the post, I said, and tell me what you think my 3 favorite games are. My wife, she goes, I guess your games. And she told me, and I was like, I've literally not played 2 of those games or something. Anyways. Okay, so who wants to start? So this may not be your favorite games of all time. This is just taken from the list. So of course we all know that the Borderlands series is all of our favorite games of all time.
For sure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
If it was on here, I think I would pick it.
If it was on here, I'd pick it. But they knew that everybody would pick Borderlands, so they said, "Hey, let's give everybody else a fighting chance."
Yeah,
we'll leave
they
that
picked
off.
Borderlands all 3 times. They wouldn't pick anything else. So
Anyways, okay. So anyone can just jump in, or I could go first to start us off. I don't care.
Sure.
I'll go first. All right. Who can guess? If you listen to our show, you wouldn't even have to name these. Castlevania is my favorite game series of all time. I'll just go ahead and I love the Castlevania. I love the side-scrolling Castlevanias. When they decided to go, hey, let's go 3D or whatever, those games weren't any good. But I'm old, so side-scrolling games is probably my favorite game, which would lead me to my other one would be Metroid. I love the Metroid games, so Castlevania and Metroid. I don't think I've played a Metroid game that I haven't liked. Even the 3D ones were good, like they had on GameCube, Metroid Prime. So I've always loved those. And then Uncharted would be my third one.
Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, see?
Well,
Uncharted 2 is probably one of my top favorite games of all time because it's just the cinematic, the story, everything is just beautifully done. It's just sort of all there. Comedy, the action.
It's like you're playing a Hollywood video game. Like you're like a Hollywood movie, but you're playing the video game. It was one of the first ones where I felt that way.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you have picked, Monica? You said not that. What did you think I was going to pick?
I just was expecting more like old school, like.
Because I'm old. Yeah. I get it. I'm old.
You picked 2 old school. And
I thought
you've played a newer game. I like Atari and Frogger.
I don't my Pong.
Paperboy.
That would be Monica's.
Okay, right. The little arcade places that are around here, there's like the 2 that I know of. You can't find it anymore. They had the Paperboy with the bicycle handles, and I don't know where. I don't know. I guess they decided it wasn't worthy.
Oh.
Especially since they saw me playing it, they're like, "Oh, get it out of here!" Like.
Those kind of games were really cool in the arcade. You know, you think about Star Wars and Paperboy and things that had the steering wheels that looked like what you were flying or driving. And it was like, that was so cool, you know, and kind of what the Wii was trying to do with, you know, movement. But it or really kind of like virtual reality in a way, you know, because you're making it move. That was cutting edge, I guess, but very cool.
Graphics were horrible, but the controls and everything
interaction.
Interaction was great.
Pole Position was probably the one of the first, though. It had the steering wheel with the gear shifter, right?
Yeah.
Outrun. Anyways.
So many arcade games.
Which is sort of sad that that's not really a thing anymore.
So there was one arcade game, sorry, real quick, that I played a long time ago that it was one of the first VR type things, and this was in the 90s or 80s, or probably the 90s. But it was it was like a shootout game. So you're like a cowboy in your shootout, but it was like this video projection of this person that you had to shoot, and it was high tech, but it didn't do well. It probably had a lot of glitches. I don't know, but it was hard. I wish I knew what the name of it was. It'd make the story a little bit better. But
it was a good story
for its time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really high tech. Anyways.
Hogan's Alley. No.
There was one similar. I played one back in the day where it was before you just sit. Nowadays you sit that big thing on top of your head and you like spin it around at the arcade. But there was one that you did put around your head. You put around a buckle around you, and you stepped into it, and it was the first VR like lightsaber like sword game, and it cost $10, and it was back in 1990. Wow. It was $10 per play, and it wasn't like a laser tag place. It was just a arcade game, and I remember it to this day. And I've always loved VR, and so I bought the Vive like the first day that you were able to buy it, because I've been waiting to enjoy that experience again from like 1990. I don't know the name of the game either, but
$10 for one game.
It was 10. Yeah, I wasn't driving.
Wow.
Man, if we had done that like when we were kids, if we would have went to our parents and be like, "Hey, we need $10 to play this video game," they would have laughed at our.
Oh yeah, I only played it once, and then
There's my whole life savings. I got to play it once.
The rest of my life, I wanted that experience.
My allowance was $5, so I had to play sparingly. They would drop me off at the mall, and I would play all the video games that I could for $5 just about. It was terrible.
It's all the VR stuff, with this is sort of off the subject, but the what's the place called, Chris, that we went?
Void?
Disney Quest.
The Void. Yes, the Void. That's really taken off, and now with the way the world is, I don't even know if they'll do it anymore.
I know.
What's the Void?
Void
you
is
haven't heard of
something
them?
that we need to do sometime whenever we can actually do stuff like this again. It's basically a VR room. Like you.
Oh yeah, okay. There's one here?
Yeah, there's one in Plano.
No.
You can be Star Wars. You can be in Star Wars and be in a stormtrooper costume. You pick up a blaster rifle. Like you pick it up in the game. You don't start with it. You pick it up along the way, and it's like you're in the game. There's droids that are.
There's that.
Amazing.
You can be an Avenger. You get like an Iron Man suit.
Oh my gosh.
You go into like Avenger training.
Is it like the laser shoot 'ems games? Oh my gosh, what?
Laser tag
person.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, like laser tag. Yeah,
that's it.
you have you have the VR helmet on, but you also have a vest. So like if you get shot or something happens to you, like the vest will like buzz or whatever, so you feel like.
But it's free roaming,
like
so you're walking
reality,
around.
you can see what you're doing.
Yeah, so I mean it's all virtual reality. It's in a room, and they've built the room out to look like the area that you're in. So if there's like an R2D2 unit that's like beside you,
reach out and touch it.
Reach out and touch it. It's there.
Oh my gosh!
And like for the
a trash can though.
Yeah, it's probably a trash can.
No, it's not. I thought it's gonna be nothing. So I cheated and I lifted my visor to see, and it was an R2 unit sitting there.
Oh, nice.
It was like all black,
yeah,
but it looked exactly like it. They had another big droid. Probably got him laying around here. I forget his name, but it's like a life-size droid, and he's there.
R5.
Yeah, but you see him in the game. It looks just like.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you're there. There's
the
heat. It feels like there's lava. It's cool.
And the Avengers one, you'll go into Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorium, and you have to walk down these winding stairs, and like the railing's actually there with like the little display pieces on the railing that you can grab and walk around, and
it's amazing.
And then there's a Jumanji one too, which is fun. So you can be the Rock and you can be Jack Black.
I ever wanted to be. What? I just can't believe that's even here, and I didn't know it. Oh, I feel cheated, and it was before the COVIDs, so
so now,
dang.
I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know if they'll open back up or not.
Like, but yeah, right. So they haven't folded yet. They're like one day.
It's in a movie theater, which is sort of interesting.
Is it AMC or Cinemark?
Cinemark, I think.
Cinemark. In Plano.
Looks like the Titanic on the outside, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't it movie theater? I think it does.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, there's one there. There's one in Disney World. I think there's one in Vegas, one in New York, I think. The Void. Yeah, you should look it up.
Did you do the other ones in other locations, or just the one here? Or just
I've done the one at Disney World at Disney Springs. It was the Star Wars one they had there, so it's the exact same thing.
Okay.
But it's the closest that you could get to being in Star Wars without being in an actual movie.
So cool.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sad, but excited, but I'm sad. I want to do it.
So I guess we need to pick our games.
I picked mine.
I got off on a
little bit of a tangent.
Sorry, it's my fault.
I guess I can go if you want. I had a hard time.
Yes, we do want.
Yeah, I had a hard time picking because like they have all these games on here, and it seems like it's more the exact game and not really the franchise necessarily.
Franchise.
Yeah, so there's like oh, I like this version of this, but they got this one listed, so I don't know if I want to pick that one. I tend to veer more towards fighting games myself. I love games like that. So of course I'm picking Mortal Kombat on there. That's always a fun one.
Not the superior fighting game?
No.
Street Fighter?
Well, actually, I'm going to pick Street Fighter as well.
Oh, okay.
Are you doing this in like the bottom up to the top or the top down to the bottom?
Oh, no particular order, really. Sorry. I mean, between those two, Mortal Kombat, I like over Street Fighter. Because Street Fighter, you do have to be actually a little smarter, I guess.
That's why I like it.
Because the combos, like, you really have to learn the combos of that. With Mortal Kombat, you can kind of, like, just blindfold yourself and go in and do all these cool moves. Which, actually, I kind of did one time when I was playing with, like, Dorian, who we've had on here. When we were playing a game one time, I was like, watch this. And I just turned around, didn't even look at the screen. And I just started hitting, like, every button, like, going through it. And I actually beat him.
Oh, my.
That's why he won't come back on the show.
That's why he won't come back on the show. He's better than me at Mortal Kombat. For some reason, I was just like, when I wasn't looking, I was doing much better. And then the last one, I'd have to go with the classic because I always love it. I'm not good at it. I've never beaten it. But Mega Man.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
Yeah,
it's just I love this. I love the whole plot line, the style of all their games and everything, and the classic Mega Man is just fun. It's the hardest game you'll ever play.
It's the Borderlands of the 80s.
It's the Borderlands of the 80s.
That's what they all say.
You know what we should do? We should create this new game. It'll be like Mega Man.
So it's cursing.
Yeah.
And a guy in his underwear.
Think about it. Well, there's a guy in his underwear in Borderlands, and you could say the same thing for Mega Man because they all wear their underwear on the outside of their pants. Is what it looks like.
Superheroing.
You get multiple different weapons in Mega Man. You get multiple different weapons in Borderlands. It's the same game. There's robots in both of the games.
Well,
can't make this stuff up.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go now. When I saw this list, I had a difficult time at first because I'm like, what is Super Mario? why am I just picking one of these things? It's like what? And I realized then it was
Super Mario.
I realized it was the franchises, right? So I wised up, and I was okay. That's good. So I picked Super Mario as one of mine. I do enjoy all the Mario games, the ones I've played, anyways. But a lot of these I may have played one of the games, like Mega Man, maybe one of those games, and Metroid, the first one. That's it. But so I had a hard time, but I ended up picking Halo as one of mine. I've only actually still really only played two Halo games, but I wanted to pick something that was more like what I play now, and they do have a good storyline, and it's fun to play those. And then Mortal Kombat is my other one that I picked, and that was one of the first ones I picked, actually, and I was like, oh, just the first one? I guess so. But all of them are great, and I remember playing it recently, the arcade version, at the comic book convention that we went to, and they had this retro games area set up, and they had, I guess it was the original Mortal Kombat or it was Mortal Kombat 3, I don't remember, but this kid was playing it. I say kid, he was probably high school or college, but
kid.
I felt bad because I came up and I beat him like few times, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you play.
You like toss your towel at him afterward and be like, hey,
keep trying. It wasn't even like I was that good. It was just
he was just that bad.
He probably didn't play it that much, or I grew up playing that game, that one in Street Fighter, but
like signed his shirt or something.
It was just funny. I was like, I'm sorry.
And the kid was playing with someone else. He walked up and slid a quarter in. It's like, I'm next.
Put your quarter up on the thing. Yeah, that's and those are the days. But,
I had a similar experience in my childhood of being that kid. And it wasn't a game. I was at a museum and I was trying to answer questions about facts of the dinosaurs or something. I don't know. And I was getting them all wrong. And it was one of those like touch screens when touch screens were new. So I was like, whoa. And this kid came up and like hit all the right answers and turned to me and was like, I can't even remember what the kid said because I was so blown away that she got all the answers right. But there was a snark that she was like, meh, and like walked away. And I was like, oh, I'm so stupid. So yeah, you crushed that kid.
I did. I'm sure I did. He laughed.
He's telling that story now.
He laughed.
20 years later, she still remembers it. So
you made a mark. Make no mistake.
Oh man.
You won't see tonight.
I gotta go find that guy.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
I can go next. I think I'll go from like bottom up, like you were saying. For me, I think Resident Evil would probably be my number 3 out of the 3. It was one of the first scary games that like I'd ever played, and I actually didn't even get to play it first. We went over to my friend's house. He was the only one with like a PlayStation. I think it was PlayStation, and there was like 4 of us huddled around the TV with all the lights out on the second floor of this house, and it was like midnight, and we were probably like, I don't even know, maybe less than 10 years old or however old I was, and you see someone creeping around the corner, and everybody in the room got scared, so scared that we jumped, and the weights fell off of his weight machine because we in his room and just slammed on the ground.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so that was like we were all scared and everything. So that was my Resident Evil experience. I think my second one would be Metal Gear. And I'd probably go with just the Metal Gear Solid, the original PlayStation 1, because that one was one of the first, that one and the second one that came out. They just were they felt open world to me, even though they were kind of a linear path game, but it was the first style that I had played of that. And then Final Fantasy is going to be my obvious first. Like I was saying earlier, for video games, it was the reason I got into the actual industry. It was the sole reason that I was like, I want to do this. I'm so enjoying watching this stuff. I've got to do it. And funny enough, like the Final Fantasy VII was the one that got me, and then the remake came out a couple months ago, maybe just 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. And I took off work for 5 days. I was like, I am gonna take off work. It's the first video game I've ever like taken vacation for.
It was like the turning of the millennium in this house.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I took it off. I got a glass of scotch. I turned the lights down, and I just played for like 6 hours straight the first night, and just continued to play the rest of the week and loved it. So yeah, those are my. I could probably tell you 90% of these games that I've played, how much I love them, but those would be my top 3 for sure.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised no one has picked Sly Cooper yet.
Sure, you look so surprised.
I'm so surprised.
When I saw that on there, I was like, this is somebody's favorite game?
How did they make this list? Who made it? Like, how was it chosen?
It was probably months and months of data research. No, probably some 16-year-old picked a bunch of games and made a meme.
Okay. Yeah, because like if they're like I wouldn't be experienced enough to be able to find the thread in here, like where it is that these all came from. So good. That puts me like that gives me a little bit better self-esteem.
Yeah, I don't think there's any thread. I think somebody just said, "Here's some games."
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Golden Sun is. Like,
let me tell you about Golden Sun.
I was hoping that was Golden Axe, because I might have picked it if it was. It's
Golden Axe. Sequel to Golden Axe, Golden Sun. At the end of Golden Axe, you realize that the thing that you're required to get is on the sun, and it's to be continued. So you have to take your Golden Axe to the sun.
No.
That's Golden Sun.
That's why.
Either that.
You're so convincing.
Golden Tee, which is a golf game, if you remember. Golden Tee, Golden Sun, all the courses are on the sun, and you're playing golf on the sun.
This is not possible.
This is much closer.
It sounds like a better game than probably what it is. So
I don't know.
Well, Kyle Googled the art, and as you were describing it, like, it sounds wonderful. Like, paired together with the visuals, I'm like, somebody should make that game.
What is this game?
I'll play golf on the sun.
I've seen golf. It's like a
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, like a Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Looks like it. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
It was on Nintendo, so Jared would know probably. Our friend Jared.
Yeah.
It's probably one of his favorite games.
It was an RPG.
Probably.
Yeah, so there's some weird ones on here, but anyways, I'm ready, Monica, to hear the ultimate games of Monica.
This is gonna be so silly. Like so I'll just like spoiler Final Fantasy. Same for me. We're married because of that freaking franchise. Like it's just.
You like Final Fantasy? I do too.
Yeah, like us in college. Nice. Him with shirts that were too small. Me with my worse hair than I have now. Like geeking out and being like, PlayStation people. It was just Nice. I don't know where the rest of these rank. There's so many that I want to pick because of nostalgia and personal feels. Like Crash, me and my best friend would play like Donkey Kong and Crash, and obviously I just can't. So I'll just stick with like the ones that I guess make the most sense. I can't. Metal Gear for sure. Like definitely Metal Gear. We're married. Like we're gonna be. And honestly, I want to pick Zelda, but it's only because of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Because and that feels like wrong, because that's not loyal enough, I guess.
Yeah, if you like it, you like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with Silent Hill actually.
Oh.
That'll be my third one because that was my scary game.
Isn't that funny? This is funny. I've never played the Silent Hill game, but I've seen the movie.
Oh,
man.
I've seen both the movies, but I haven't played the game.
Oh my god. The game is really good.
Actually, no, I think I've played it with Jared. Maybe I may
I
have played it.
haven't played it. I wouldn't mind playing it, but
I don't know if it would be fun nowadays.
Yeah.
I think it would be annoying these days.
Yeah. I was just trying the Resident Evil remake that they just put out, and the walking it's better than it was when the original Resident Evils, where you're like trying to walk around, but it was still like, whoa, feels like an old game, even though it looks really good.
Did you guys get to see the sort of shelved Silent Hill that they were working on? That the demo came out, and oh shoot, what's the director's name? The demo had a weird name. It was not called Silent Hill. It was something else.
Start with a P. Paranoia or something.
Oh, anyway.
Persona.
I still like, you know how when you watch a scary movie and that becomes like the thing that you see in the dark.
Yeah.
That demo still has me like, oh, it was so. Gosh, I'm so sad it was shelved. Like, because it would have been absolutely amazing. Yeah. Hideo Kojima, and like the demo was. They ended up making, so the game that they did end up making, or that he, like, once it was shelved, there was some drama, I can't remember what, that they made the one with who's the zombie guy with the crossbow? You guys are so, Daryl, yes.
PT,
playable the game with his
Oh,
I guess.
Yeah, with the baby.
Yes.
That game looks so weird.
After the other one fell through. PT, that's it.
Yeah.
The name of the Silent Hill demo. Oh, you guys. Oh, it was so scary.
That was actually scary.
It's going to be so good.
We can wrap up in a minute, but is there any games on this list that you just like, no, I don't like that game?
Oh, interesting.
I'll never play that game again.
Final Fantasy.
Oh,
no. So I had. Right. So I've played. Well, I may have played the original, or one of the original ones. But I remember playing on PlayStation 1, Final Fantasy game. I rented it when you can rent games, right? That one and a game called Drive. And I remember sitting in my dorm room playing one of the Final Fantasy games, and I played it for hours. And is when you had to have those memory cards, and I didn't have any space, or I didn't save it or something, and I died. And I was like, well, I guess I'm done with that game. I was like, I don't know what to do now. So I played Drive, and it was more of my style. But it was fun though. I liked it.
I almost actually picked F-Zero just because it's just a fun driving game. Like it's so fast paced and nuts.
So I'll tell you the game on here that I'm like, if I could get rid of a game on here,
Sly Cooper.
I'll tell you what. No, actually, Sly Cooper's not that bad. I've played it, and I've never played this game, but the reason that I would get rid of this game is because of Facebook. Because I am tired of every time I get on Facebook, people asking, "How much for your turnips?"
Oh my god, Animal Crossing.
I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know. How much for turnips? I don't know.
Why are people asking you on Facebook?
Just like on like groups, like Facebook groups, you'll be scrolling through.
Oh.
It'll be like all these posts. How much for your turnips? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, are people? I don't understand the game. I guess I'm just I don't get it.
When you're tired with doing your stuff in your life, you can go and do stuff in your life in the game setting.
Honestly, yeah. It's the same thing happened to me in Animal Crossing that happened with Stardew Valley, where like you do your farm, you plant your crops, you build up your life to the point where you dread waking up in the morning for the stuff that you have to do in your game life. Like, oh man,
Second life.
I'm so tired dealing with it. Whatever it is.
The turnips.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Smurf Village for me. There was a mobile game that was Smurf Village, and you just grew Smurf berries
Oh.
constantly. And I was growing all kinds of Smurf berries.
Hmm.
So
many Smurf berries.
So Animal Crossing is just you sell each other turnips or whatever?
You farm, you collect things, and you trade them and sell
But
them.
why of all the things you could have in the game would you be like, I really want to buy some turnips from somebody?
Because you need to pay back Tom Nook. Like, he owns you.
What?
Yeah, there's some dystopian undertones.
She would get me and she'd be like, Kyle, come read this. This is creepy.
This is a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Like, I just joined a cult. It's bad. Like, I've never played any Animal Crossings before. This was my intro to it. And so I was learning, and I would just, it's funny because I had this sense of foreboding, like, oh, it's about to go down. Like, it's about to go dark. Like, I really honestly was expecting it for the sky to fall and it to be like, ah! It just felt wrong. I don't know. And then when I realized that way, I was like, eh.
I just tried to collect a bunch of dinosaur fossils. Like, that was my thing. I just wanted to collect
Cool. I really like the museum. Like, once you collect a bunch of stuff and you walk around, and that part was cool.
I don't understand.
I don't either. At this point, I still don't. But
like turnips and dinosaur bones?
And a ton of peaches. I don't know. Peaches.
Well, that peaches.
Peaches for me.
Peaches are good.
Millions of peaches.
Yeah.
I mean, they make them downtown.
In a factory downtown.
In a factory.
Yeah. I can.
I gave my little girl mermaid starfish
She
shirts.
drew them.
You can create your own whatever, and I painted a bikini top that was starfish, and then I was constantly looking out for green pants that would be like mermaid bottoms. That was what drove me, honestly, was like trying to complete my mermaid outfit. Like, I was only progressing in the game so that I could get the next part of my outfit, which I didn't. I petered out like after I got my. I was like, this is fine.
This works.
Yeah.
Just please, for everything, please never make turnip buying part of Borderlands. You have the power.
Oh man, now I've got to go into that.
Well, you just put the juju into the air, so
you need a turnip gun.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to my mission designer and be like, "There's this guy who hates turnips." So turnip game.
It could be like a quest, right? Like getting the coffee. I need you to go get these turnips. I gotta have turnips for my video game.
Use Ryan's name for it.
Yeah.
Make me the turnip guy.
Just like the name of the NPC is Ryan.
He lives.
Yeah.
It'd be like the character from Avatar with all the cabbages that, like, he always blows up the cabbages.
You can make me a crotchety old man that doesn't understand turnips or something.
Yeah.
What's with all the turnips?
Yeah, that's how half of our missions get started. Not even kidding.
I'm tired of turnips. I want a peach.
Yeah. Just give me a peach. Oh, man. Any other games on here that you guys just... maybe not hate as much as me, even though I've never played them, but
I want to love Fallout. I love that type of game, and we played Fallout 76, and it's so frustrating.
Remember, you can't say anything bad about it. Shh.
You can say whatever.
I can say whatever.
Oh, okay.
It's so frustrating because you have to make sure you're fed and have water, and you can't be over encumbered, and you just got to keep track of all this crap, and you can't carry too many things, and it's so hard. But I haven't played the other ones, so I can't totally take it off of there. But many people love the older ones, so.
So Winchester in our live stream just said that turnips are things you buy, and it's like playing the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So like the price of it goes up and down.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
You gotta pay attention to the market. I never got that far.
I guess that's why on my Facebook group people are saying, "How much are your turnips?" And I'm
I see.
Is the market not same for everybody? Not the same for everyone at the same time?
Maybe not.
I don't know. This is a very complicated game.
Wait, who asked the question, or who told us the answer?
His name's Winchester. He's one of our.
We should ask Winchester. Like, does it go? Is everyone's the same?
Yeah, Winchester is everybody's turnips. I can't believe this is what we're talking about. The same price on
If
Animal
everyone
Crossing.
signs on at 9 a.m. Central, are all the prices going to be the same or is it different?
I just know, like, because I played it on like the Game Boy, like the Game Boy, one of those, and you could plant something and you have to wait for it to grow, but you can go into the internal clock on your Game Boy and move it ahead.
Oh my gosh.
And then you go back into the game like, oh, I got a full-grown tree now.
You're like the black market of turnips in Animal Crossing. You want some fast turnips? I got the turnaround down. So let me know how many you need.
That's funny though, because like I was, my son plays Farming Simulator, and I was looking up on the console. In order to get more money, you have to do these hacks or things to try to get money. And one of the things I was reading the other day was because like on a PC you can just go in and change the XML file and put whatever money you want to. But on a console, you have to do things to try to trick it. And one of those is like make sure your Xbox doesn't turn off after doesn't go to sleep, and run this process, and automatic. Like you can have solar farms, basically like solar panels, and gain money from it because you're selling that power to somebody or something. But it's so funny how that stuff, there's ways to game those kind of things,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's funny because you say the turnips, but I'm playing No Man's Sky currently, and my friends they're doing something similar. They're going from solar system or planet to planet and solar system to solar system, and they're crashing the cobalt market. And so I'm like, what do you do? Like they're on Discord, and they're like, yeah, I've crashed the market over here, and I've crashed the market over there. I'm on my next way to the next planet. And I'm like, what are you doing? So basically, because you can easily mine it, and it's on every planet, you can go sell it, and then the demand crashes, and then they just buy back what they sold for a lower price. And I'm like, I mean, I know you're not cheating, but this is really borderline.
What do you do in real life now?
Yeah. Buy and sell. All right. So now that Kyle, you've known Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't know Chris? Every time I tell people about the podcast, I'll tell the general stuff, and then I'll say, and then my brother's on it, and he's an animator. Oh. And then I'll say, this is what he's done. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just the guy that talks. But they always want to know about Chris. Anyways, so now that you've met us all.
Yeah.
You can take whatever you want to back to your guys, and you can just make us a DLC of I Am Geek.
Oh yeah.
Just use the three of us in it. We could be a 3-headed ogre. I don't care.
Now there will be turnips. I'm sure I'm going to get someone to do turnips.
Yes.
It'll have to be something a little bit different, right? Though, because surely you can't just kind of pick turnips. I don't know. Maybe could you pick radishes, maybe, or something?
They'll be mutated turnips, so they'll be different.
Mutated turnips. There you go.
Oh yeah, we definitely got to theme it. I'm fine with that. Yeah. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna see if someone will try. Yeah.
That's awesome.
There has to be a line of dialogue that's like, who does a turnip market? Radishes is where it's at.
Yeah.
Mother.
He's gonna walk into the room with the writers. There's a board, I'm sure, there with all the stuff written on it. He's just gonna dramatically erase everything and just write turnip really big.
Yeah.
We're gonna go, oh,
This is where it's at.
Do it.
Absolutely. I'll make sure to go into. No one's at the office currently, so that's gonna be a little hard. Maybe I'll just like hold up a whiteboard for my Teams call.
Maybe you can draw directly over the meeting. Turnips, like.
That's not dramatic. I need a sign. I need
Or like Catron has a background. Just do, and this is the new thing. You click, and the background is just turnips.
Yeah.
You're like, and you just drop your mic or whatever.
Yeah.
Walk out of the room.
30-minute PowerPoint presentation on turnips.
Yes. I mean,
I'm gonna be so amazed if turnips is in this game.
All right, here's the answer. It's not the same for everyone. The prices change twice a day, and people are studying the algorithms so that they could predict spikes so that they can sell.
Oh my God.
Shortly after the game dropped, Elijah Wood DM'd. I'm not sure.
Direct message.
Direct
Oh, I know, but I mean, okay, someone to visit their island and sell his turnips.
Elijah Wood selling turnips in a
I
game?
want Elijah Wood's turnips.
Said everyone always.
that's awesome that he answered it.
Yeah. That's great. So there's an algorithm to turnips.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
I'm sorry, I don't get it. I want Elijah Wood's turnips, though. I'd take that. That was like second breakfast to him.
Mm-hmm.
11s.
Yeah.
Afternoon tea.
There you go. Hobbit selling turnips in Borderlands 30, the new DLC. Got it all
You
figured
call them
out.
hobbits and you can't call them halflings.
No, yeah, so it's like, I don't know. There's little short people in Borderlands 3. Just use one of them.
Yeah, we have tinks in yeah. We use them.
Tinks and turnips.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
have them throwing turnips.
Tink turnips. Yeah.
Tink turnips. That's a brand name right there.
I need you to go down to Tink's Turnip to get me a bag.
Yes.
And then in order to get it, you have to go fight a bunch of tinks throwing turnips at you. It's perfect.
I mean, you guys
Writes itself.
come write some Borderlands. Like
Yeah.
I would love to write Borderlands. There's a lot of crazy stuff in this head.
that sounds exactly like what would be in the game. I'm not even kidding.
First one's
cool.
free.
The first one's free.
The first one's free. Yeah.
We got 1 million of them. Just go listen to some of our past episodes. I'm sure you'll find all kinds of crazy stuff you could use.
Superheroing. Yeah, I can't even say it right.
Yeah,
Superheroing. When you
That's
wear
when
your
you-
underwear on the outside of your clothing.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys for coming on. We've kept you probably long enough. I know you guys have stuff to do, right?
Yeah.
We got to get right
play-
back to the stuff we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
12:15.
Sleep, mostly.
I want to apologize that I didn't get to make it to your Christmas party.
Yeah, well. Now there will never be another one.
Yeah.
So that was the last one.
Because
He's like, I got an invite to Monica's Christmas party. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like, is this
We're
a mistake?
joking. I really do bug him all the time.
Yeah.
Would have been funny if I just showed up. I didn't even tell Chris.
What?
What are you doing here? I'm like, Monica invited me to the Christmas party.
I drove
just
5
like
hours.
to
Now I'm here.
Yeah, 5 hours. Well, gotta go. I got 5 hours to drive back. Anyways, thank you guys for coming on. Is there anything you guys want to plug before we get out there?
Go buy Borderlands.
Go buy Borderlands. Buy it all.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you guys are welcome back anytime. We love having you on. This is an episode 152 of I Am Geek, and we will be talking with you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
We're still on YouTube, but we're off the recording. But we're still on.
Yes.
Hope you have fun.
Have you guys started doing farewells with anybody? It doesn't matter, by saying like adding "stay safe" to the end of everything. Like, I feel like it's become so common now. Like, I just went to the doctor earlier today, and I was like, okay, like, stay safe. She's like, you too. And it's like, I heard myself for the first time in probably a while saying it like, "Ooh." This feels
people say it, and I said it kind of like you. I was like, I was talking to somebody. Okay, stay safe.
Yeah.
Like, conversation with like in these days and times. Every conversation. That's what I start off with.
Or I started saying it jokingly, but now I say it actually all the time, which is Apocalypse 2020. Like I say it like it's a thing. Like I named it and it's real. And is how are you doing in Apocalypse 2020? Is everything okay? Like,
I mean,
it used to be funny. Now I just say it.
Yeah.
now it's real life. I mean, it's every day. I'm just waiting. I mean, what was the cave they found a few weeks ago? They're like, we found this cave with creatures that no one on Earth has ever seen before. And I'm just like, close the cave.
That's no rain of fire.
The cave, there's.
That's rain of
the thing that
fire.
saves us all in there, like, wait.
Yeah.
Just like, close it.
I'm the bat that cures everything.
Oh my gosh.
What's the little armadillo-looking thing? You know, like it's bats and whatever armadillo creature that is. It looks like an armadillo. I'm not making this up. It's like
an armadillo.
Is it an armadillo?
Could it be an armadillo?
I forget what it is. It's so cute too.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, I think it was a Pokemon.
I was thinking Pokemon when you said that.
Oh, you're thinking of the Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
I was playing Pokemon at the time. It was a dream. Never mind.
It's pretty sad when the greatest thing to come out of 2020 so far has been a guy with a show called Tiger King on Netflix.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I was scrolling Netflix earlier today, and it feels like ages ago when that came out.
Yeah.
I was like, "Whoa, remember Tiger King?" And like, I'm talking to myself because he's in a meeting, and I was just like, "Oh man."
That's awesome.
It's just I'm just waiting for aliens or ghosts or something to be the next thing. Godzilla's gonna rise up out of the ocean.
There was
Seriously?
a crop circle that somewhere, it was supposedly the cure for COVID.
Oh my god.
Supposedly part of it looks like the virus, the pictures you see, and then it had this other thing, and and somebody explained it like, well, that's these three elements, and that's what they're trying to tell us.
And was that the person who made the crop circle? Like, whoever made this.
Yeah.
I'm still wondering if we're like living in Cabin in the Woods. Like, they're having to appease the weird god that lives under
of evil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think there was like for the Mayan calendar. I think one of the interpretations was it was going to be this year. So that could get
makes sense.
The end of the world was technically last week, I think.
Oh.
Okay. That makes sense.
So we're done with that.
It was nice knowing you guys.
Yeah. Pretty soon we will be living Borderlands.
Oh,
Borderlands is just the way life's going to be.
It's based on Thunderdome, so we're not that far.
Yeah.
You will see me somewhere with underwear and a cape.
Yeah. Selling turnips.
Selling turnips.
It's a real life mission.
Yeah.
There's a time traveler that like pops back really fast and is like, put all your money in turnips. Turnips will save you. Goodbye.
I'm gonna be one of those Southern gentleman guys that's in that big house.
Oh, Sir Hemlock.
Yeah. I say so.
I say. Oh, the world we live in. I don't think I'll ever leave my house again. I'm pretty just decided. Every morning something else is going on. I'm like, we got a nice house.
Yeah.
We have one of those. My wife bought one of these. Have you ever been to Epcot? Mm-hmm. With the land. You go through and it's got like the gardens, like the hanging gardens where they grow everything really weird, hydroponics or whatever. My wife bought one of those, so we have Epcot in our house, and it's like it's cool.
You have a hydroponics garden in your house?
Yeah, it's like the future is now.
That's awesome.
It's literally just a little shorter than me. I'm like 6 foot, so it's just a little shorter than me. And it's got like all kinds of stuff growing on it. But the funniest thing is my wife she doesn't have a green thumb. She has like a dead decaying thumb. She cannot, she'll admit it, she's like, I can't grow anything. So we got this thing because it basically does it all. Mm-hmm. She really likes to grow stuff, but she just kills everything. Like one time we had a plant, like a flower pot thing, and I was like, I think this flower pot needs watering. Like this flower needs watering. And she goes, nah, I'm just going to kill it anyways. So anyways, so we got this thing and it grows like lettuce and all these weird herbs and kale, and I don't know why it grows kale. And like all this stuff, and tomatoes and peppers, and I'm like, the tomato plant is growing great. I'm like, why is there no tomatoes on this plant? And I'm like, what have you been doing to the tomato plant? Because I don't see any tomatoes. And I was like, I saw the flowers, so they should be, tomatoes should be growing any time. She goes, oh yeah, I cut those off. And I'm like, what do you mean you cut the flowers off? Oh yeah. I read you're supposed to cut the flowers off, and it helps the tomatoes grow. And I was like, have you ever seen the top of a tomato? She's like, yeah. I'm like, that's the flower. That top, that little green part, that's where it comes from. The tomato comes out of the flower. She's like, what? She's like, no. So I called my mom, and I'm like, can you explain this to her? And she's like, you're not supposed to cut the flowers off. And she's like, oh, really? I'm like, don't listen to me.
That's funny. She sounds like she was done dirty by the other wisdom that is true about cutting off flowers, which is on herbs. Yeah. Because it makes them bitter once they flower. So, like, she was like, I can totally see the logic there. She's like, cut off the flowers. Trust me, the tomatoes will taste great.
No tomatoes. It's just going to be a green stem. That's all it's going to be.
That's cute.
Winchester really says Sandshrew is the armadillo Pokemon that could have been.
Sandshrew?
Oh, okay.
That's the one I think I'm thinking of that looks like a armadillo.
Are you thinking of a Pokemon or a real animal?
The real animal is pangolin, but now it's a Pokemon. Forget pangolin. It's definitely a Pokemon. A Sandshrew.
Oh man. So anyways, yeah, the Epcot garden thing is really cool.
Yeah, that's. I might have to look that up. It sounds great.
I'll try to send you a picture.
Yeah.
I'll send it through Chris, so Chris doesn't think I'm trying to steal a friend or something.
It's fine. I can share.
Well, you can send it through Chris, but you can just send it to me, and we'll just let Chris think that like he's asking along.
This is like every friendship I have now.
What?
Like just make Chris think, this is going on, but really we're doing this.
Just let him play.
He's
happy where he is. He's fine.
What other friends have I stolen? But, I mean,
probably Ray.
What other friends have you not
Probably
stolen?
Ray.
Ray.
Best buddies.
Ray and I only talk twice a week now, just because our lives have been crazy.
You grabbed Jared and pulled him in your band.
Hey, if you play an instrument, you're sort of fair game.
So all of his friends.
Yeah. So that's all my friends. That's it. I have a lot of hard time making friends.
Let's
That's
talk
why
about
I still
it,
your
Chris.
friends. Yeah, therapy session right now.
Tell us about it.
You don't need to go to work tomorrow.
I definitely have off tomorrow.
You have off.
Flex Friday.
Oh well, then can you edit this and put it up for me so I don't have to?
Nope.
Wait, what's today?
I don't know. I'm so confused.
It's Friday.
No.
Is it Friday?
Well, it's currently Friday.
Yeah.
It's Friday now.
It's Friday now.
Was he just being silly? Does he actually have Friday off, or does he have
Friday off. That's fine.
You have Friday off?
Just cause.
Oh,
Just 'cause
something's
he
going on
doesn't
here.
want to say.
Doesn't
I
say.
know why.
He's going to buy another Tesla.
Yeah, you gotta get another Tesla.
Katrin knows why. See, you stole Katrin now from me because I don't know why, but Katrin knows why.
Well, me and Katrin
Well,
talk all
we
the
can
time
discuss it later.
before you get on PlayStation. And then we have to leave our group to join your group on PlayStation. Here it comes. All right,
Here we go.
let's go on.
We just did on Skype today, so
Yeah.
we're not.
Oh
We're
yeah.
not supposed to be laughing. We did the same thing on Skype.
All right. Well, it's 12:30, so
Yeah, we need.
Yeah,
I got to edit everything and put it up.
let you go to bed.
Oh man.
Well, sorry for the sex story that you're gonna have to
Oh
edit.
no, I won't. I thought it was funny.
No, it's fine.
There was no language.
Make it all the work for you.
Here's the thing with Apple Podcasts, it's the language. Like if you have curse words,
Mm-hmm.
they'll flag you as explicit, and then for the rest of your episodes, whether they have them or not, you're just flagged as explicit.
Oh wow.
So that's why we're sort of like, we're just gonna keep it family friendly, and then that way we don't have to worry about it. So you can tell all the sex stories you want, just as long as it's no explicit.
Don't use the real words.
Just use turnip and
Velcro. Turnip and Velcro.
yeah.
And you're good.
Yeah.
Establishing a whole new vocab. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming
All right.
on. I'm looking forward to the turnip DLC.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us. It's
Yes.
good to see your beautiful faces.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Come
you.
to my Christmas party next time, you turds. I don't care how fast you drive.
All right. If there is ever another Christmas party in the history of man,
Yeah.
then I'll be there.
Yeah.
But it's not looking good.
Especially not this year.
Yeah.
We're gonna have our own little Christmas party alone.
Aw. On Zoom.
Yeah.
They'll be wearing their mocap outfits to the
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
party. The two of them.
At home mocap.
Yeah. Anyways, all right.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was good meeting you. I'm
Oh,
glad
yeah.
that I can put a face with the name because Chris talks about you all the time,
Yeah.
Kyle.
Constantly.
Constantly.
That guy that looks like that.
Scarlet.
It's the hair.
It's there.
Yeah.
Usually it's just cow.
Ah. Anyways, all right. Thank you guys. Thank you
Yeah.
guys on YouTube for watching, and we'll be with you. I'm looking down. I'm looking down because YouTube's down here for me. We'll talk with you next week.
Bye.